We got positive thinking.
Positive thinking. Hey, turn the song on.
I just turned the song off because this is our first video cast.
Yes.
So hello to everybody.
Hey,
I'm Ryan.
I'm Jeff. We are the Kidney Boyz, and this is the Kidney Kast.
So that was our latest single that just released about a week or two ago, right?
Yep.
2 weeks ago. It is now. Yeah, 19th.
19th of October.
Days will just keep flying. The year's almost over.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, that was the most recent song we just released, Positive Thinking. So don't forget to check that out. You know, it's a great song.
Where's it on? We have it on Spotify,
Apple Music,
and
Amazon Music. And we just actually pushed it to
YouTube
Music and
Pandora.
So that should be coming soon. So be on the lookout for Pandora and YouTube. We literally just put it out there. Actually, right before we did this.
Yeah.
So, you know, it may take a week or two to get out there, but we definitely put it out there as well.
We're already, Spotify, Apple,
and Amazon
are up and running currently.
So you can definitely check it out on there,
Yes.
along with our other two songs,
Rejection.
which were Rejection and Overwhelming Feelings. Again, great.
The support.
Yeah, great support from everybody. We've had a lot of stories and just appreciation. We really appreciate everybody.
That's one of
enjoying the songs.
That's like one of the coolest parts, isn't it? Like that, like the songs. Like we wrote it for a competition. You know, like we love that competition because it's cool that everybody's sharing their like stories in their own way. You know, but like at the same time, you're going to be competitive. It's part of the games, you know.
It's part of our nature in general.
Right. We want to be competitive. So like, you know, you thought you write the best song, and then, you know, we win the medals, but like that's cool. That's all cool and all. Like that's but like it was kind of like the aftermath of it was like the most mind-blowing part of the whole thing.
No, definitely.
Because it was like all of a sudden we started getting friend requests and messages, and like how like our song made sense to people, and like how
it was really relatable.
Right, it was relating to their story, and it helps you on days that you're not feeling your best to know that, like, by listening to this, it's not just you going through it. It's many people just like you. Like, that's the transplant games in general helps you with that.
Exactly.
Like, to let you know, like, you know, when you're in your regular day lives, when you say you have a transplant, it's something that people have 100 questions about. But when you go to the transplant games, everybody knows the meds we all take. Everybody knows all the symptoms and the issues that come with it. And like for the fact that the songs can bring the same general idea, like that we've all been through.
Yeah, we're not alone and stuff like that, which is really why we started doing this because of all that.
Of course.
Why people, you know, you're not alone. It's the stuff, and that's like, you know, it was all about the competition, but it was about telling the story from our perspective.
Right. Exactly.
And like I said, the outpour was great. We made a lot of good friends through it. You know, we still keep in touch with a lot of people, and you know that's been the best part of it. That's why, you know, we go back to transplant games because of that kind of stuff, because of the camaraderie and the friends that we make through all of it. So, you know, there's just one more thing to add to it by doing the music that, you know, put it all together to connect us on a more common basis.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, so now we just want to keep it rolling. You know, like, it's important that we keep raising awareness for this kind of stuff, and we haven't I don't think we've, with what we've accomplished so far, I feel like all we can do is keep spreading the word, and it's right now it's kind of at a point where we have an audience and we have people who want to listen, and we want to make sure that message gets there any way possible. And so with the music we're doing it, this is kind of a new thing we're trying. We both have podcasts of our own
separate podcasts that we do.
So we thought it's obvious to just do something like this. As something that we've kind of been doing already. You do a sports podcast.
Yeah, I do a sports podcast, the Benchwarmers. You can subscribe to us and all that on YouTube and Stitcher and SoundCloud, and follow us on Twitter at Benchwarmer06. And you do a podcast as well.
We do Two Men and a Mic. It's basically kind of like a guy podcast that we talk about, but we kind of talk about any real subject that's going on, something funny. We like to keep it lighthearted. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, on SoundCloud, Google Play, and now we're doing a video podcast version on YouTube. Just look up 2 Men and a Mic, the number 2, Men and a Mic on any of those, and you will find us. So take a listen to both. We'd appreciate the subscriptions. But back to the matter at hand, you know. the songs are doing great. We do have more music planned. It's just, writing process is
take a little bit.
Like we didn't write those 3 songs in 10 minutes. It was
months of
every week of just writing and rewriting and recording, re-recording. It's a lot to get to where we want. So we don't want to just put out a song and put out a song. We want to make sure that it's a good song, it sounds good, and that everybody can enjoy it. So far these 3 songs we put out have really done it. So I guess one of the most common questions that get asked about us and the whole Kidney Boyz thing and stuff like that is just the origin of us, the people. Like how did it all start for you as far as when your story of transplantation in general, like when you realize you need a transplant to where we're at now?
So when I was 3 years old, my parents had gotten a bunch of testing done on me because doctors said, something's not right and all that. I was sick all the time as a kid, and doctors would put me on all these medications. So my parents were like, hey, something's not right here. He's having trouble with this and this thing. So they did some blood work and did some urine samples, as
right.
A lot of people they do. And they got a call one day and said, we need to see your son right away. And they go, what, you can't tell us over the phone? And they rushed me down to Children's Hospital. They waited for me to get done school.
Oh, that's nice.
Because they wanted me to finish it, but they waited for me to get done school, and I went up, and my parents were at the hospital, and I was wondering what was going on, but they didn't want to scare me or anything, which I respected and still respect a lot.
You don't want to tell that kind of thing over the phone.
No, you don't want to. So they brought us in and said he has kidney failure.
Right.
And so I was 3 years old, diagnosed with kidney failure. It was a long process, a lot of ups and downs, as a lot of you know.
Mm-hmm.
But 10 years later, I was 13.
It was like the end of the line kind of thing?
It was it. Right before my 13th birthday, I got pneumonia really bad, and the doctors called and said, he's not going to make it. He's going to need a transplant.
Right.
Because my creatinine shot up to like a 13, I want to say it was. So it was out there. I was bad. I remember being really bad. I had to miss a championship game, which I was really upset about because I love my sports. I love basketball.
He sure does.
And so it was the championship game. I was sick and I couldn't move, and I was just so upset and sad. And so I finally got better.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom and dad sat me down and go, Ryan, you're going to need a transplant. And I'm like, wait, what? Excuse me? So I never really knew how sick I fully was because my parents just made sure that I was a normal kid for all of my life.
Right.
So I knew I had a transplant. I had to protect my. I knew I had kidney failure and I had to protect my kidneys. That's as much as I knew, but I was able to play the sports I want to play. So they said this to me, and I'm in shock because I knew eventually that I was going to need one, but I didn't know it was that bad.
Kind of you're not ready for that moment even.
Yeah, because it's mind over matter, and that's what it always was, and that's how I was always taught: mind over matter. To always think positive and all that kind of stuff. So that's how I was always taught growing up. So when I got told this, I was like, oh my gosh, and they go, your dad, everyone was getting tested. My dad got tested, my mom got tested, my older sister got tested.
Right.
And my dad was the best match out of all 3. So they said...
Were the other 2 matches at all, though?
My mom was.
Yeah.
So my dad had 3 angios, my mom had 3 angios, and my sister just had the same blood type, and she really wanted to donate. But she helped me through some tough times throughout the thing. So, and I love her for everything she's helped me out with and through that. So, but my mom and dad had 3 angio matches and all that. So they looked at it, and my dad was the best candidate out of all of them. And so, he told me this, and I just broke down crying. I mean, it was scary. I didn't know what to expect. So I picked the transplant date of March 7th, 2001. So right before my 13th birthday, I picked this date, and we picked it out. So I turned 13 in January, had my transplant. Actually, which is funny, it was March 7th, 2001, and my sister's birthday is March 11th. So I picked it right around her birthday. And like I said, she helped me through a lot. She was there for me. Right out of transplant, I was. When I was in ICU, they had a tube down my throat, and again, I don't remember any of this. But apparently, there was water backing up in it, and no one noticed it. But they let my sister come in and visit me, my mom, and they're like, they pointed it out. So things could have gone a lot worse for me. So like I said, she's been there for a lot of stuff, and I love her for everything she's done for me. And I'll never forget anything of that. So that's how I came about with my transplant from there on out. And then, from there, things have just been a little bit different. But before I get into, right after that is then technically how we met. How'd your story go?
It's similar. I feel like they're all kind of similar in their own way. Pretty much was from birth kind of thing. Like, they knew it was that they were going to have to come out, but I had other issues already going, so they knew that I wasn't healthy enough to take on that extra major surgery at the time, but I was able to kind of hold off as long as I could. And last 6 years, they were able to hold off the idea of any kind of a transplant. And then when I was like 5.5, 6, it was just one of those things where I was healthy enough from anything else that was going on. They had fixed all the other issues, and it was definitely transplant time. When you're that young, you don't really notice it, so I didn't even, it wasn't like a thing you blink about, because at that point you're just like, oh, okay. And with the amount of surgery that I had already had, it was kind of like, okay, I'm just doing that thing again that you do when you get sick. So my mom and dad both got tested. Both were equal matches, but my dad and my mom kind of just determined on who wanted to do it first, because they didn't, at the same time, back in 93, you didn't know, how long it was going to last. No. So to have two matches, you just wanted to know, who was going to go first, because you'd assume that down the line I'd need another one, and they didn't know how long, they were only lasting, in that, 7 to 10 year range back then with the older medicines, like the cyclosporin, those kind of, it was just the anti-rejection medicine in general, just not as good. Okay. They were, you did what you could, but they weren't as good. So my mom said that she was ready to do it, and so she went first. My dad was definitely just as willing to do it, so it was awesome that you have two parents who would go above and beyond in the first place to do that for you, so it's one of the things you can't thank your parent enough for doing that. When you become a parent, you always say you'll do anything for your kids and stuff like that, but you don't. I think when you say that, that's not one of the thoughts in your head, though. It's one of your thoughts isn't, oh, I'm probably going to have to give up an organ to them. That's not something you expect them to do. And the fact that they do it with, out blinking, that's what I have to do to save my child, I'm going to do it, is crazy that, someone would do that for you. So it's something you can never really pay back, but...
Not really there.
But, you do everything you can to pay them back for what they've done for you. So my mom gave me her kidney. I was 6. And lo and behold, with her and my dad being on my butt about it every day, making sure the meds were taken and, every precaution that was necessary, it lasted 24 years, almost 25 years. So we obviously did not expect that long. Yeah, we expected it was pretty good. We expected it in that 10 to 15 year range. That's what they were projecting at the time. Yeah. And for it to last almost 25 years on its own, it's not something you can complain about, no. So when time came where, 23 years in, it starts to do its decline, you couldn't be too depressed about. Obviously you're depressed because no one wants to go through that multiple times. But it was actually, I feel like it was harder as an adult to do it than it was as a kid. I think when you're a kid, you don't really notice what it affects because you're a kid. You have no responsibilities. You don't have those definitely. It's just part of life. But then when you're an adult, it interrupts everything that you're doing. You have a job, you have bills to pay. You have relationships and things like that all come to a screeching halt when all of a sudden you're told that your kidney doesn't work anymore and it's going quick. Then here comes dialysis, which as a kid I don't remember it like that. I remember going to it. I remember it was not necessarily a fun thing to do, but I never remembered it as being so draining and stuff. But as a grown up, being an adult who's already tired 24/7 now because of your kidney not working, then you're going to dialysis after work, so you're still trying to do your normal life, but you can feel that your body just isn't cooperating with you anymore. Is crazy. It's a crazy experience. It's one of the things you're thankful for because. Without dialysis, dialysis, it helps you live in that time between where you're searching and searching and searching for a new kidney, So, it was definitely a surreal experience, but I feel like that kind of like, it helps you become you, like, it builds on you, it builds some character. And so when the second one came about, again, family members, as usual, stepped up, and it was awesome. I had friends from high school get tested, like, people you didn't expect that would actually, like, come out and do that. Like, they're friends, but you didn't think that's a weird question to ask as an adult, to be like, hey, you want to give me one of your organs? Like, that's not something you want to ask anybody. You feel weird asking. I feel weird asking for $10. Like, so that's all of a sudden be like, oh, by the way, I just need your kidney. Can you spare one of those? So it was really cool, that response of how many people like tried. People you were friends with in high school, but weren't even necessarily like best of friends, just friends, but they wanted to do their part, which is so cool. Turned out both my cousins. I had two cousins, two of my female cousins. That was Steph and Jen. Both of them were matches. Again, it was like a double match. Of course, my dad wanted to do it because he was a match before, but being older and the fact that we didn't expect 25 years, they didn't want to give an older kidney because that's not really, for a 30-year-old man, it's not a great move. Only because the older the kidney, the less it's going to last, and we're going to be doing this again. So it was kind of cool that my cousin, who's only a year or two apart from me, that both of them were a match. So my cousin Steph, she stepped up this time and gave me her kidney over just a year ago now. It's a year and a couple months, so it's crazy. That time flies so fast, and like the difference you notice within like a week of getting that transplant, that you feel just like a completely different person that fast, is just, it's a thought you just can't understand. It's crazy. And so basically that's my kidney story. I had two, so
yeah, that's why you appreciate it more.
Right, you do appreciate it much more when you're grown up and you realize what really happened. As a kid, it was kind of something you take for granted, I think, sometimes, because you don't understand it. But as an adult, you understand like what you were losing. Like, you were losing your life. You really were
at that point.
But yeah, after that first transplant, was really like the origin of us. Like, really. I moved up into the same area as you, and so I wanted a new doctor that was generally in the same area. And when I did, I found out that we actually found out the transplant games.
Yeah, right? We met each other my first transplant games. So in 2000, it was one of the Florida games, right? Was that 2000? Was it 2? The second one?
2002, yeah.
2002, second one. So that's, because 2001, 2002, obviously. Hello. 2002 is when we met. We were actually on the same basketball team. Yep. And you had just moved to the area, and then we ended up finding out.
We found out that we lived like 10 minutes away from each other, and we were in the same doctor. So it was like kind of cool to find someone you can hang out with that has the same thing as you. Like, it's the same issue. Yeah. So it was like,
and this was my first game, so it was really cool. I made a friend forever, basically, at this point. I mean, we've been friends since then. So it's 2002, and we've been friends ever since. It's been
16 years, bro.
It's crazy.
16 years.
I'm on 17 years. My first kidney right now. Right. So,
and that's awesome. It's.
But yeah, so I mean, 16 years we've been friends. The games basically is what started our friendship. Like I said, we've made tons of friends throughout it all. They're all over. And that's one of the coolest things. They're all over the country and stuff, and you got friends all over with the same problems, same issues, and like, it's cool to have all those people to fall back on when like something might be bugging you or something, like you just need to know if like anybody else had this. Yeah. And like, it's easy to fall back and kind of get that advice. To find different people who had the same thing. Okay, so you went through it.
But it was cool, and like, it was like one of the things, like we clicked pretty quick. Yeah, definitely. Where we played a lot of basketball when we were after we came back home. Yeah. And we'd hang out Friday nights, and one of the things we always did was like we would write music. Yeah. It was just like, it was a fun thing to do. We were like 17, 18 years old.
Yeah, it expressed a lot. We were able to get a lot out. The thoughts in our heads and all that kind of stuff, and
it was kind of cool to keep writing. And we did write a Donate Life song pretty early in our friendship.
We actually used it for the first games. And one of the first songs we wrote together. I was messing around one day, and I sent it over to you, I remember, and you go, wait a minute. how about you put this in there?
Right.
And it was,
and we found that, we're like, let's do this, let's try to raise awareness like that.
Because, raising awareness was our biggest thing at the end. And, like I said, it gets a lot off our chest, but at the same time, it was about,
helping out
others. Just help out others.
Oh, yeah.
The fact is, though, my parents and his parents both were willing to give us organs at the very beginning of it all. And, they were willing to do it for their kids, but other people are also willing to do it. And it saves lives and, gives people a second chance. And when you see the second chance you're giving, it gives you a whole new perspective on life. And so that's what pushed us to really do it a little bit.
And I feel like when you promote it in certain ways, like, because sometimes people don't know how they're going to listen to it. Like, by doing it through music, sometimes you might be able to get through that person who's just hesitant about, like, should I do it? Yeah. Should I not? But, like, if you put a song out letting people know, like, what that person's going through, because even as the parent, even as the cousin, they don't really know what that person goes through. Yeah, so if they can hear something that lets people know, like, this is what he's going through, this is what she's going through during dialysis, during organ failure, like, that it's an experience that it's crazy to think about. And it's an experience you can't explain well. It's hard to explain that, maybe through song and stuff like that, if you can really get through to somebody that might be just like on the fence of, like, should I donate, should I not? Or something as simple as putting it on their license.
Yeah, put on your license is the biggest thing, which is funny you say that, because our first song, Donate Life, which we performed in Cleveland for the first games when they introduced the lyrics for life, we actually were told that, one of the judges actually went out and put organ donor on their card, which is really what all we ask for at the end of the day is to raise more awareness for organ donation, but also to get more people to put organ donation on their card. So, for us, that was really like, wow, it worked. It touched somebody, and it meant a lot to us in that aspect of it.
I think that kind of fueled us for the following games.
Like, it definitely did. I mean, it
knowing that like that song did it, and we wrote that years ago.
Yeah, 2006, I want to say it was.
Something like that. Because we performed like once or twice at different transplant events, but like we never got it in a competition. So that's what that Lyrics for Life has been so cool for that, because it's cool, a new way to express, where it's not just physical competitions, like, it's a brand new way to kind of express yourself through your community like that. And that's one of the coolest things. So it was just one of them things that was so surreal. So getting onto the new songs, it kind of was like, we just wanted to hit the ground running. We wanted to, like, really write 3 brand new songs that explained it. And with me currently, during that time, was going through the dialysis and then into the transplant, it was much easier to write it, because I was writing it while we were feeling it. Like, it was happening at the moment. So when you write a song like Rejection, it was easy to write because it was so fresh.
Yeah,
it was
going
happening.
Through rejection at that
point.
And
you're basically just writing about what goes on to you daily, and then, like, Positive Thinking was written after the transplant I received a transplant, and like, and with Ryan being able to relate by having those same experiences, it's easier to write a song that you have that much, you that much feeling toward.
And you connect with. Like, we basically grew up with the same, outlook on, always think positive thinking, reject everything that's out there. So, like, we were able to connect with that, and then the songs came, and it was just, it was a sort of double connection on there, which is why we wanted to put more into it, because, with Jeff going through his second transplant, it was rough. It was more relatable up front to him, and I was able to, just try and remember all the things back in the past, day, and just try and put it all together at the end of the day to get the 3 songs that you guys currently that are out now that you guys can listen to, that we put a lot of our heart and souls into, and it was really fresh for you to put out.
It's really cool that everybody is kind of taken to it the way they have. So we want to keep going, of course.
Definitely.
We keep new things up. We want to keep trying new stuff here. Any way we can to kind of keep getting you guys to, we want you guys to interact with us. We love the stories. We love the, the comments here and there, that it's helping you do this, it's helping with that, it's helping you go through an event. It's so cool to see that. So we're thinking, like, we want to do this, once a month?
Yeah, roughly about once a month is what we're looking to do.
We're going to do the Kidney Kast once a month, to kind of just update you, whether it's music-wise that we're figuring out new songs, or, like, just a general thing. We might have, maybe a couple stories we heard. We want to reflect them back to you guys, that maybe people don't want to tell their story, but they want their story told.
Yeah, so
and that'd be awesome for us to do. We gladly will be your voice if you don't want to. That's one of the cool things that we would do in a heartbeat. So basically, one of our ideas that we feel like would be kind of cool is going live for an episode, like a Facebook Live or a YouTube Live. And we kind of want your comments and suggestions on, like, what would you like us to talk about on Facebook Live? When works for people? Like,
what's the best time?
What kind of a time and day is like a general time to get a lot of people? Because we want people to be on it live with us. We want to see your comments, and
maybe
we want to be able to like
conversation, like
comment on stuff. We can go back and forth with you, ask questions live to us. We will respond live on air. Like we said, in advance, if you want your story told, if there's some cool story you have about transplants, transplant games, anything of that kind of story, anything like that, personally message us on the Kidney Boyz Facebook page, on the Kidney Boyz Instagram. Right. Message us. Tell us the story. We'll ask if it's cool that we tell it live. And if you want, gladly. It'd be something cool to do for us, I think. And just if we want to get your stories out there as much as we like our own stories getting out there. And like we said, updates, anything kind of cool and crazy. Yeah. So please comment, direct message, any of that suggestions for what you'd like us to kind of do. Maybe a Q&A segment, where you just ask us and we'll...
Personable for you guys to reach out to us and, just get everything moving and going and flowing so you guys, enjoy it. Like I said, we want to get you guys as interactive as possible. So if we can do something live and it works for, a good portion of the people, maybe we can continue to do it. Once a month, like we said, with the Kidney Kast. So we're trying to, reach out and let your stories be told. And, we'll always, shout you out if you do tell a story, you want us to tell it for you and you don't mind us saying name, we'll definitely, push it so that, everyone knows what it's about, or just, just talk about it and say, hey, we were just giving a story, and here's, what went down with that person. So,
right.
Hit us up. We're open to share any story with you guys. And, we hope we, it can touch you the way, it does. Our songs have touched everybody else, and, how it's been feeling. Like I said, I felt great. The fact I said, people have responded really well to the music, and how that's touched them. I know, like I said, writing it, I know brought back a lot, and but it helped. It helps to get that stuff out and put it out on paper, and just get your feelings out. So like I said, we understand it, and we have no problem helping you get through it.
Exactly. So I feel like that wraps up the first ever Kidney Kast. Guys, we really hope you like it. Like we said, please comment, share the heck out of it, please. Just share as much as you want.
Share with everybody and anybody. I said if
the more people we can get, the better. It's
the more people we touch. And as I said, that's the whole point of why we started doing the music to begin with. Is it touched people enough to put organ donor on their card. Maybe our stories help someone put organ donor on their card, or become a living donor themselves and help a friend out, or just a random person out, because there is stuff like that out there that we can talk about on the next podcast as well. Different outlets there are to help donate organs and stuff like that. So it's out there, and it's definitely something worth the sharing. I said the music is why we do it, because you can understand what the other person's come from and go, you know what, I want to help somebody because of that. Yep. That's what it's all about.
Exactly. So basically, that's it for the first episode. So tune in, listen, watch, and we'll be back in a month with another one. And just keep an eye on the Facebook page and Instagram, as we'll be putting up updates on different things and stuff as well. So I just want to thank everybody for watching. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Ryan.
And this was the Kidney Kast with the Kidney Boyz.
Thank you.
Thank you.